Welcome to Garden Plants with Jim Putnam. Let's talk Viburnum nudum. This is Viburnum nudum, otherwise known as witherod, Possumhaw, some people, wild raisin, it's gone by before as well. Beautiful native plant that has a slightly upright, roundish habit. It's got a native range from New England down the East Coast and over to Louisiana. So quite a big native range on it. Showy flowering shrub in the spring, followed by edible berries that the birds really love, that the berries go through a change over time, and then great fall color as well, and then great structure in the garden even when it doesn't have leaves. So Possumhaw Viburnum can be kept anywhere between 5 feet in height and 12 feet in height, so it can become quite large, probably equal in width to that over time, but again, it does have more of an upright habit, so it's initially going to be more upright. It will probably sucker in the future and become a bit of a colony. You can choose to cut those out if you want to. We're right here at the beginning of May, and the flowers are on these flat, come in these flat clusters like this. They're about to open right now, and I'm a little bit early shooting this, so they're not quite showing any color. They're lightly fragrant. If you have multiple plants, it will self-pollinate, but if you have multiple plants, you actually get better fruit. But these flowers get pollinated. They become at first a pink fruit that evolves through blue and then purple and then eventually black. The birds absolutely love them, and my understanding is Native Americans utilize them as well. But it's a long period of time here in the garden where this thing is offering up something interesting. This is the host plant for the larva for the hummingbird clearwing moth, which is a beautiful moth. I've never actually seen one, but I've seen photos of it, and it's a very beautiful moth. Again, this is a native plant, but it's actually been listed as endangered in a couple of the states that it's native to. So, this is a good one to, it's not only a great ornamental plant, but it's a great plant to, have in your garden just for that reason that it is endangered in some places. They're hardy in zone 5 to 9, and so most folks watching this can grow it. It has maroon to kind of reddish purple fall color, very, very showy. It was very striking out here. Last year in the garden here. This is a full sun to part shade plant. We've got it in a bit of more shade than it wants to be in. It's probably stretching up a bit more than it would like, and it's leaning forward just a bit, but it's getting enough. Every single stem on here has flower clusters on it, so it seems to be enough that the 3 or 4 hours of direct sun it's getting, but it would probably prefer a little more, and it would be a little bit more compact if it was. We actually saw one of these. I guess the National Arboretum has been working on these a bit, and we saw some dwarf ones when we were out looking in someone's garden one day, and I'd love to get one of those. I'd love for those to be released out into the world because they were really super compact, only 3 foot tall Viburnum nudum. So where we're going to use Possumhaw Viburnum, we're using it as kind of a hedging plant. We put some taller things down the middle of this bed so we can create a little bit of mystery on the other side of the bed. So great screening plant, border plant. We have it in some dry shade back here and don't really do any watering in this spot at all, but this plant will take wetter conditions. And so folks putting in water gardens, this is frequently one of the native plants they'll use in rain gardens and wetter spaces in your garden. So it's very, very adaptable. It's going to get some size on it. So if you got a place where you can, get something with some size, it's a perfect plant. In terms of planting Viburnum nudum, you can pick, like I said, almost any spot. This is kind of a dry, part shade spot, and it'll take more wetter conditions. It does prefer acidic soils, so pH below 7 is definitely recommended for Viburnum nudum. Pruning is kind of one of those things. You need to really put this plant where you can just let it grow, because you could prune it after it flowers, but then you would lose the berries, right? You can wait for the berries to be picked off by the birds and prune it in the fall and probably lose some flowers in the spring, or not have quite as many flowers in the spring. So again, I would try to place this in a place where you're just not going to have to prune on it and let it get as big as it wants to get over time. Yeah, I've got other things planted close to it, and they'll figure it out. That's how this garden is here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've mulched it. We've got the weeds away from it. We're fertilizing it once in the spring with an organic fertilizer. It probably doesn't even need that. And it's totally happy back here. You can see how vigorous it is, how great it looks coming out of winter. And you know, the flowers again are about to open here in the next week or two. So Viburnum nudum. Thanks for watching.